This is why a song like I'll Make Love to You now probably wouldn't work. I say probably wouldn't work in 2024 because everybody just want to. You know what I'm saying?
You got a good point.
Ain't nobody really trying to court and get to know a woman.
Walk up to him and say hi.
Welcome to the slip, where the South sings.
Who stole the soul? Huh? I want to know. What happened to all the soulful music of the 70s, the 80s, the 90s? Well, not all of the 90s, but a good majority of the 90s. Who stole the soul? If you listen to R&B today, it has no feeling. It's sterile. It lacks emotion, soul. What happened to the soul? If nobody stole it, where did it go? Somebody, go find the soul, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring back the soul. What they're making today, it's fabricated. It's like plastic. You know what I mean? It's like eating a meal that's wrapped up in a cardboard box, pulling that cardboard box out of your refrigerator, pulling back that piece of plastic, setting it inside the microwave, and setting the timer for 3 minutes and waiting for your food. Now, 70s, 80s, and beyond, before that, nah, that was soul food. That was the kind of music where Big Mama go in early in the morning on Sunday. Before everybody wake up in the house, she pulling out pots and pans. She got gospel on the radio, you know, that old AM radio with that one gospel station way on the back on the far end down there. She got it on and she got it up loud enough where you can hear back there in the bedroom because you done partied all night, doing all kind of sinful things. So she's turning up the music and welcoming in the Lord into the house. And so what she do, she get all those big heavy cast iron pans and pots, and she get in there and she get to whooping up the best meal of the week, and it wakes you up. Your nose pull your ass out that bed and you go down that hallway to see what Big Mama working on. What you working on, Big Mama? Show me what you're working with in here. That's what that meant. Show me what you're working with. That meant, what you got in them pots and pans over there, Mama? Big Mama. She was taking her time. She would lay out all her ingredients, and she's making that cornbread. She wasn't making that cornbread from no Jiffy box. She was taking her time, pulling out all the stuff, the real flour, the enriched flour, the eggs, the milk. She didn't come out of the refrigerator with no frozen greens that already been pre-cut. No, she had them greens that she had soaking all night long. Now she done cut them up the night before, the day before, peeled out all the heavy stems from it. She done cut them up and got them soaking in the refrigerator. So now all she got to do is get up, rinse them again like she gonna do, and turn that pot on. She gonna let them slow simmer, stirring for about the next 3 hours or so. That's why they called it soul food. And there was an energy that went into cooking those meals. It was love for the family. I'm gonna prepare my family the best meal of the week. That was soul food. Today's music got no soul. There's no time put into it. There's no laboring of love. There's somebody standing back in the back corners and they're telling them this is what it should sound like. This is who you need to make the beat. Oh, and get that box can beat over there and plug it up the electronic machine and kick off this and that and the third. And we're gonna put all this together. And I want you to go in that box and I want you to sing like you never sung before.
It's in the hands of people that don't understand, never wrote a song, never been in the studio, never played a note on a keyboard, never performed in front of anybody. They don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they know that it's a means of making money. Mm-hmm. It's like oil. And a lot of these artists, I look at us as oil. We're just black ass oil. That they basically just pull from the ground and they put in their cars so they can go. That's the music industry, and that's unfortunate.
That's what they passing off now as soul music, R&B music. See, back in the day, when the singers were singing, they were all in the same room. In the 70s, Parliament, James Brown, those people were all in the same recording room, creating that magic, that beautiful odyssey of soulful sounds. There was not one person sitting back there with a beatbox. and a programmable keyboard, smoking a blunt and knocking out 4 or 5 tracks and say, I think I got one for you, dog. Going up in there and start laying down that hook. No, that was a horn section, that was a drummer, that was a bass player, there was an ensemble, and they all be in there jamming at the same time. And that multi-track recorder was recording all of that at the same time. There was an energy that was being fed off from. Each musician was making the next one better. If the bass player hit a certain riff, the lead guitar player knew how to pick up on that with the rhythm, with the lead. And the rhythm guitar knew when to come in on point. And that energy would build. And as that energy would build, they would get into what they called the pocket. And that vibe would just build. And that vibe would go on. That's why you had records back then that they had an A and B side. The groove was so hot, and there was so much smoking going on that they wouldn't stop. They'd just let it record. And then they just break it up into part 1 and part 2. That's because there was a human interaction going on in those recording sessions. That was music. That was black music. Stuff they're making today, all they're doing is duplicating and replicating and imitating. You know what I mean? But you cannot imitate an emotion and a feeling. I don't care how hard you try to make electronic drums sound like a natural born drummer, it don't work. I know, because I used to make electronic music back in the day. Well, I call it electronic music because it was hip hop, but everything was electronic. I was the one-man band controlling a lot of the music that I was creating for artists. Yeah, it ain't the same. But I knew because I played live music early on in my younger days. When there was nothing to walk through a neighborhood, I hear a band practicing in the garage or in the back room of one of the members' house. That's where I come from. 5 or 6 guys, horn player, bass player, drum player, lead player, key player, singer, and they all in that same room getting down, finding that pocket. So when I started doing this thing with the new technology, I knew what the bass player sound like. Now, I couldn't hit all of that on the keyboard because there's no way that you could imitate a natural run and a riff of a bass. There's no way that you can get the double up on the kick drum and the snares just correct, or the flange and the flare. There's no way. There's no way you can get that brass sound that goes to a crescendo on electronics and it feels natural. You know what I mean? That was soul. That was a symphonic movement of emotion played through harmonious instrumentation, and they labeled it soul music. Now, the soul has been replaced with spiritless music, and I know who stole the soul. The same people who want to control and run the world. That's who stole the soul. They saw that we can't make what they make, but if we can find a way to replicate it and get it halfway sounding like that, then let's do that. If we can hire one guy to come in here and create something that's close to that, then we can pay that one person and not a whole band. And not have to take them on the road and have to pay them per diem and put them in hotel rooms. No, all we do is bring in the artists that we sign, that act, and put them in front of that microphone, put them in that booth, and we got us a record. See, it all came down to economics. Unfortunately, those who don't look like me, they're always trying to find a way to make $1 and not have to pay anybody to make that dollar. And what they did in the process of doing that, they stripped away everything that was meaningful about R&B music. And nowadays, I don't listen to R&B music unless it's something that came along back during the times that I was talking about. White men controlling the industry, as they always have, but have found out a way to create a technology to where they can streamline the process of creating a musical composition and putting somebody on contract to go in that booth and sing that, and they take home the lion's share of the money and don't have to fight and worry about paying no musicians. And what you get in the process, soulless, heartless, electronic, fabricated music in a box that sounds nothing like R&B music. This G. Lewis. To my next video, take care of yourself. Take care of your people. God bless.